get everything positioned. All right. All right. We are just going to do an impromptu live tonight. So I figure here in a few minutes, people will start getting notifications if they subscribe and ring that notification bell. I'll just say something right now. I never ask people to subscribe. I never ask them to hit the like button. I never ask them to ring that notification bell. And I don't do any of that because I figure if you want to keep up with what I'm doing, you'll do all that anyway. So if you like a video, you'll say you like it. I won't have to say hit that like button, hit that button, spank this, slap that, smash. I never have cared for that. I did run into a guy today at Sam's in the meat department, and I was looking at pork butts. I'm going to be smoking some meat tomorrow for church. I'm going to feed the congregation before our business meeting. And anyways, I was looking at pork butts in the meat department at Sam's, and this guy goes, "Hey, don't you have a YouTube channel?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." He said, "I know you." I said, "Oh, really?" He goes, "What's the name of that channel? Preacher Day Off." I said, "That's it." And I said, "How'd you find out about my channel?" And he said, I watch your fishing videos. And he said, "But I haven't seen any of them." Of course, he said, "I don't subscribe to you." And he said, "But you always pop up in my recommendations." And I said, "Well, either you're not interested in anything I'm doing, or I'm not making any videos that would be of interest to you. So that's why you're not seeing them." And he said, "I like your fishing videos." And I was like, "Man, I like making fishing videos, but it's cold here and they're calling for 2 inches of snow Friday. So I don't think I'll be making any fishing videos for a while." I see Big John's here. He's been making fishing videos. He's been catching them, but he's a little further south than me, and he's in Texas. So anyways, if you're here and you got a question, you got something you want me to talk about, you got something, maybe something in a video you saw, or maybe it's just something you've always wanted to ask or know. It seems like we always have new subscribers that come along and they want to, maybe they don't understand why I'm doing this, or why don't I do all shooting videos or all cooking videos. And really the title of my channel is Preacher's Day Off. And I don't really get a day off per se. I get a little time off here and a little time off there, but having a full day off has been really hard to come by of late. Just had a lot going on, but it is basically whatever I'm doing at the time. That's the channel. It's a variety channel. So anyways, if you got questions, just put them in the side chat. I'll be glad to answer them. And I'll just roll down through questions in the side chat, and we'll see where we go. Spank or smack. Hang on. Beavis Brown says, fishing, guns, reloading, deer hunting, high gas prices. I could do a video on high gas prices, and that would be the channel. Spank or smack. I never ask people to hit the like button or subscribe or any of that. MCK, that's what we were talking about. If you guys like it, you'll like it. If you want to subscribe, you'll subscribe. I don't have to remind you to do that. If the content's good and interests you, then you'll follow along. Got Georgia Boy here. They're calling for snow there Friday. Wow, John, you're pretty good ways down in Texas, and y'all are getting snow Friday. So, wow. Shannon, good to have you with us. What's your favorite deer cartridge and load for stand hunting? It's a good question. My favorite hunting load around here has been the 243. I like it with 100 grain spears and about 31 or 32.2 32.1 grains of IMR 3031. That's what shoots good in my Tika, my son's Tika, my brother's Tika, my pastor friend's Tika. About every Tika that shot, Tika 243 that shot that load likes it. You know, all guns are different, but I like that. And my typical shots here are 250 yards or less. There's places I could shoot further, but that's typically what I try to do on my own property. That would be my favorite cartridge. I did shoot a buck with my 6 ARC last year, and that was just with factory 105 grain match, I think is what they were, Hornady match, something like that. But I don't know as though I'll do much deer hunting with that ARC. I just wanted to shoot a deer to say I shot one with it and see what it would do and see how it performed. And actually, I'm kind of teetering, and this may shock some of you if you know me. I'm kind of teetering with going back to the 30-06. Just the size of some of the deer we have on the river. Those deer are eating corn and soybeans all summer. They're living on winter wheat. And anyways, that's kind of the hang up there. So I may go back to an 06 just to have a bigger bullet, shoot further than the 243. Do you need any 270 full metal jacket projectiles? I do not. I do not have a 270. But thanks for asking. I get the same thing. I just post my life. That's right, Big John. It's whatever you're doing at the time. You're trapping, you're fishing, you're making sausage. That's why I follow along. I like that. I actually like that kind of a channel. You know, when I first started doing this, people would say, "Are you a prepper? Are you a homesteader?" Or, you know, I mean, everybody was trying to put me in some little box, and I'm like, "No, I'm a preacher, and I live in the country, and this is just kind of my life." And it used to be whatever I did on my day off, and then, you know, I kind of would get spotty, and sometimes I'd go a while without a video. And now I try to do a video every other day. That's really that's my goal. I may never make that, but that's what I try to do. How are things going in Arkansas? Good. Everything warmed up last week. I was in a Bible conference and was out of town for a few days. And I didn't get a chance to do any fishing last week when the weather was nice. And now that the weather is back to cold again, I've got a little bit of time. I probably could fish Thursday or Friday, and it ain't gonna happen now. What's your favorite gun? Should you be a Winchester or Remington? My favorite rifle is a Tika T3 light. I like the light better than the newer X. JD Shearhart, good to see you. Missed you at lunch today. Oh, no. I didn't miss you. I missed your dad at lunch today. No, Lily Shearhart. There you go. I'm glad that your dad's filling in for us while I'm away until we get a pastor, and I consider him one of my good friends. The 06 will put them down. Yes, 150 grain bullets. That's what I prefer to shoot in it. Big John is a redneck with a camera. I guess that's why I watch you, John. I watch you. It's a whole lot like me. My language is a little cleaner than yours, but we think a lot alike and do a lot of the same stuff. Other than that, if we live close together, John, you and I'd be friends, whether you liked it or not. You never seen me do a live. Shannon, I try to do a live about once a month. Jordan, would you recommend moving to Arkansas? My sister lives in NWA, and my wife and I are looking to get out of the People's Republic of Illinois. My stars, I'd live in a culvert in a ditch in Arkansas before I lived in Illinois. Yeah, Arkansas is great. Northwest Arkansas is my least favorite place in Arkansas because that's where all the people from Illinois move to, and they work for Walmart or Tyson or JB Hunt. And So basically, it's kind of like everything you don't like about North, they moved down here. And some of them, they didn't want to live in Arkansas. They got forced to move down here because they service Walmart or JB Hunt or Tyson. So yeah, if you'd like to get out of Illinois, you can live really cheap in Arkansas compared to other states. And I've traveled quite a bit. I think I've been to just about every state in the lower 48. There's a few in New England I haven't been to, and I haven't been to Oregon. Um, but pretty much I've covered the country, and I like it here. I would definitely live in the northern or western half of Arkansas. If you're on the eastern or southeastern end of Arkansas, it's just flat and mosquitoes. You need to get into the Ozark or Ouachita Mountains, Jordan. That'd be my recommendation to you. Jeff, you like Savage rifles. You're not alone, but I've never been a fan of Savage. I like your Charles Spurgeon shirt better than the one you got now. Well, I've got several Charles Spurgeon shirts. I just kind of cycle through them. I haven't wore this one in a while. I wore it today to town, and I need to get that. Raining there. It's just cold here. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. I try to watch it, but I was raised by a truck driver. Hello, Miss Kitty. Good to see you as well. Anyways, if you don't have, like I've said earlier, and some of you are just hopping on, I look like we've got 26 people viewing now. If you've got a question, you've got something you want me to answer, maybe saw a video, wasn't clear, you want to know what I really think about Reed's Hometown Barbecue in Booneville, just put it down. Two interesting things happened this week. I ran into two different people, just happen chance, ran into them on the street, and they knew me from YouTube. And one of them was at a reloading place, and the other was the meat guy at Sam's today. And it's always fun to run into somebody that watches your YouTube videos, and they'll ask you, about something. The guy that I saw at the reloading place, he'd watch pretty much all the reloading videos, I would guess. And he was telling me that he shot the same 223 load that I recommended with IMR 3031. And he was telling me what bullets shot well in his AR. And it was good to talk to him. I believe his name was Mike. I won't mention his last name, but it was good to talk to him and hear, what he had to say. And then to run into the meat guy at Sam's, and he liked the fishing videos, and to talk to him, it's always good. So if you see me out and about and you live in the area, or, I travel every once in a while, if you see me out somewhere, maybe I'm in your neck of the woods, by all means, holler at me, track me down. Kyle, it's cold here. Rain hadn't started. It's supposed to start raining Friday and switch to snow. And I think the weatherman was saying 2 inches. When are you going to go fishing in Oklahoma again? Well, I'll still fish in Oklahoma, but I'll not go to the trout waters of Beaver Bend ever again. You know that, Brandon. Brandon lives not far from there. If you saw the video behind the scenes at a Bible conference, Brandon is the guy that makes the bologna, makes the summer sausage, makes the bratwurst and the Polish sausage. He's the meat guy. Matter of fact, if you're in Southeast Oklahoma and you kill a deer, I highly recommend you take it to White's Deer Processing. The motto is you drop them, we chop them, and they do a really good job. Snow tonight. Yeah, I guess we're missing this first round of moisture, but we're going to get the next. So are you finding any rifle primers? No, I'm not. I bought 500 about a month ago. I went back to that place Saturday, and he had no rifle primers. And I said, can you get them? He said, oh, I can get them. I think my brother was telling me, they said he could get them, but he said he didn't want to sell them for what he would have to sell them for to get his money back. So that's I think he was saying he'd have to like get $125, 1,000, and he just wasn't going to charge that. Yes, Shannon, you do need to go to Boonville. You live in the area. You really ought to go try Reed's hometown. I mean, it's an hour drive for me. And I don't just go to Boonville on a whim. I don't have really a need to go to Boonville most of the time. It's not on my way to anywhere. But if I'm in Boonville Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I'm going to eat Reed's hometown barbecue. It is the absolute best barbecue that I've had in Arkansas. And now listen, I know there's supposed to be a really good barbecue joint in Texarkana, and I got plans to eat there. And I know there's a really good barbecue joint on the eastern side of the state, called Ray's. I think it's Ray's Rump Shack or Ray's Rump House, something like that. Anyways, Mr. Simmons has it, and I'm going to eat that. But I've eaten a lot of barbecue all across the country. I've had what is considered the best in the world, and I'd put Reed's right up against any of them. The service is great. The atmosphere is great. If you live around here, you ought to hit Reed's up. Hey, preacher, are you going to issue a rebuttal to Uncle Jim teaching moment video? A rebuttal to Uncle Jim. Well, I agreed. You need a good foundation, but and I believe Uncle Jim's got a little wisdom, so I'm okay with him doing one every now and then. I don't think he said anything negative or challenging, so I don't really think I need to do a rebuttal, but I'll keep doing the teachable moments as they come to me. Do you ever go to East Tennessee? I do occasionally. Matter of fact, I plan on coming back through there. Might be sometime in the spring. I've got friends in Western North Carolina that I want to go see, and I want to go across North Georgia. I want to eat barbecue with Kyle one evening, and I want to fish with Georgia Boy one day, and then I'll get into North Carolina. I'll probably come back through Tennessee. I don't know exactly what part, but I do go through East Tennessee every year, every other year. Good to see you again, preacher. I'm on my spring break. Good to not have to worry about online college classes for the week. Well, all right, Thomas. Enjoy your week. And I pray you get through college quickly. I mean, if you hang around too long, they'll indoctrinate you and you'll become a liberal. So keep your nose to the grindstone and get out of them books as soon as you can. Enjoy your week. We're going to get some snow here in Fort Smith. Yep, I agree. They say it's coming. Let me know when you come to Texarkana. We can try it together. Man, John, I'd love that. I would really, really love that. I will. I'll let you know. Matter of fact, the place I'm going to go to is called Naaman's Barbecue. And I met the owner at a Bible conference here about 3 weeks ago. We were talking about barbecue, and the guy seemed like he knew how to cook a brisket. And, I was kind of talking like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And somebody said he owns a barbecue joint. And then they were like, yeah, he's won all kinds of awards for his brisket. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. So I'll holler at you. I'd love to sit down with you. I'd love to buy your lunch sometime. We'd have a good visit. Yeah, that's right. Reed's hometown is on the way to Blue Mountain. If you go crappie fishing at Blue Mountain, you ought to hit that going or coming, one or the other. New Texarkana, thanks for stopping by. As I said earlier, if you guys got any questions, just put them in the side chat. I'll try to answer them. I think we'll do this for, I don't know, till y'all get bored, or an hour, whichever comes first. Rodney, hey, good to see you, man. How about a good barbecue deer backstrap recipe? All right, I've done this a couple of times. And the key to it, backstrap is lean and it doesn't do well over long smoke. So your backstrap's long and skinny like this. Lay it down and just take your time and start cutting, and just cut you about a 1/2 inch cut into there. Open it up, a 1/2 inch cut, open it up, and you're going to unroll this backstrap, okay? Take something with lots of fat in it. I've done just straight bacon grease and rolled that in there. Like save bacon grease, let it get thick, roll that in there. But what works even better, Rodney, is this. Get some cream cheese, because that's really thick fat. mix some bacon grease and some cream cheese together, put whatever flavors you want in there. You could put green onions, you could put barbecue rub, whatever you want, mix it up in cream cheese. And you don't have to do bacon grease, but you need something with some moisture and some fat. And then roll that back strap back up, and it'll look like a jelly donut. All right. You know what I'm talking about? Like the jelly roll, and that layer in there, instead of being jelly, will be bacon grease. You can lay bacon in there, but it's just kind of soggy. I'd rather have the grease and it'll cook through. Anyways, roll that up, tie it in a string, and then rub the outside with barbecue rub and cook it until you think it's done. I mean, you could stick a thermometer in there on the inside. I'd be shooting for like, I don't know, 140, 150, something like that. But Rodney, that is really good. I've done that a couple of times. Just not butterfly it, but just unroll it. And it works. It's really good. Me and the dog about to head to bed. Good to see you, sir. All right, good night, Kyle. I really hope things work out. I mean, if gas hits $7, I'm not going to Western North Carolina, but I really do want to go, and I'm going to go through North Georgia, and we're going to eat Biggins barbecue on the way. William Gainley, preacher, what would you look for a General Bird shotgun? I'd like to start duck hunting next season. Okay. I shoot a 870. I'm partial to a Remington 870. I like a pump. It's more reliable than an automatic. Duck hunting's kind of a dirty hunt. I mean, if you're going with guides and they put you in a blind and hand you your stuff and serve you hot coffee, you don't need that. But if you're going to hunt on public land where you got to walk in, carry your own decoys, do all that kind of stuff, I'd prefer a pump. I find them to be more reliable, less need for cleaning. And I prefer an 870. I would get one that shoots 3-inch. Unless you're going to hunt fields and hunt geese, you'll need 3.5s. But if you're gonna duck hunt over, backwater, I most times shoot 2 3/4 on tight spots, and so an 870 would be good if you want to go with an automatic and money's not an object. Those Benellis are nice. I think it's called the Black Eagle, Super Black Eagle, something like that. Buddy of mine's got one. I can't hit nothing with it. It's got a full choke in it, but I really like an 870 just for me. And I prefer not to shoot the Magnums because they're lighter. They're not as heavy built. They swing better. So it is good. I wouldn't steer you wrong. It's not going to be like cream cheese in the middle. It's going to like bake through as you smoke that. And Rodney, try it and let me know what you think. I'm always hungry, Big John. I just ate. I had creamy garlic chicken and fried green beans, and I'm still hungry. That's Joel Osteen's favorite meal. You'd know more about Joel Osteen than me, Wade. You're welcome, Rodney. What is the best meat to order at Reed's Barbecue? His brisket is excellent. His ribs are great. Excellent ribs, excellent brisket. His jalapeno sausage, man, his jalapeno sausage is good. You'll like it, Jared. Trust me. I don't know if you'll like the jalapeno sausage. You may not like it hot, but the ribs or the brisket, his pulled pork's great. I'm not big on chicken and turkey. His chicken and turkey are good. He's got a Cajun turkey. So if you want something lighter, I've never had a side there I didn't like. So I'd say you could go just have at it. I go for about anything stuffed with cream cheese. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think I use French onion dip, which is basically cream cheese and a bunch of other stuff. But I did do a layer of French onion dip in an unrolled backstrap and then rolled it up, tied it up, and put it on the smoker. And that worked well as well. All is well, crappie fishing. Thanks for stopping by. Everything's doing good. Load it with IMR 3031. You can hit something. There you go. When Mr. Duval, when you going to come to the range and compete with me and little brother in the hunters match with your hunting rifle? If gas hits $7 a gallon, you'll have to hook my labs to the front of your Tacoma like sled dog. I think that'd be a good idea. That'd be a good idea. Has auto aim. You know, I went to the little Gadwall pond over here with Ethan, the guy down the road, and he talked me into taking his Benelli Super Black Eagle. I mean, it felt and pointed real well, but he had come back from North Dakota and he had an extra full choke in there. And I wasn't used to the gun. And I mean, the far end of that little Gadwall hole's about 25 yards. And I'm shooting a pattern like size of a coffee can. And it's kind of dark. You can't really see the ducks because they're not in the skyline. They're in the trees. I couldn't hit nothing. After I'd missed and missed and missed, I said, man, here's your gun back. He had a 20 gauge, and I handed him his gun back, and I got my 870 back out, and I went to kill him. Well, I got him back. We went down to the wood duck spot down along the slough, and I said, you might want to take that 12 gauge with a full choke. Well, it's real tight. You know, all the shooting was close. And man, he was doing his fair share of missing. And after he'd missed a few times, I said, you know, that full choke ain't as nice in these tight quarters, is it? So anyways, we had a good laugh out of that. But I really appreciate Ethan hunting with me. He's got me. I wanted to get back into duck hunting, but I didn't like hunting by myself. And it's good to have somebody to go with you. And it's a lot funner. A lot more fun to sit around and visit and talk and shoot them when they come in. Reload everything. Howdy, preacher. Tuning in till 10 normally to go to bed at 8:30 now. I'll stay up for a preacher stream. Well, hopefully we won't bore you to death. It looks like there's 28 of you watching, and as long as you got questions, something I can talk about, we'll try to go for about an hour. I think we're 27 minutes in, 28 minutes in. So might be riding my horse. Yeah, that's pretty true. Well, good. 4th Saturday, Old Fort Gun Club. Be there, be square. You'll need about 40 or 50 rounds. So come ready to shoot. I'm ready to shoot. I need to get some ammo loaded, and I've been working up some brass. But yeah, you need to come shoot, Kevin. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time. Big John, you do need to get back into duck hunting. It breaks the monotony of winter. I always loved deer hunting. I never got tired of that. I used to duck hunt a lot, used to go all the time, and I kind of traded it off for coyote hunting. And then when we leased out the farm, we got rid of all the lease land that my father-in-law used to have. So my coyote hunting territory used to be several thousand acres. Now it's shrunk down to basically what I deer hunt on. And once you call them a few times and you shoot them a few times, they're like, we don't go down there no more. Every time we go to that, he shoots at us. So I just don't coyote hunt like I used to. So I thought, well, I still have some duck hunting spots. We'll start doing that. And I mean, I enjoy it. I know it can be an expensive sport. You know, duck hunting's not cheap. But if you got the basic stuff and you got realistic expectations, I mean, I want to say we killed a half a dozen ducks every time we went. Sometimes we killed 8 or 10. I think the last couple duck hunts we went on, I didn't even video them. Those were some of our best hunts. We killed ducks and geese, and we had good hunts. And I enjoyed it. It's a fun form of hunting, you know, if you got people with you. Because I mean, you're a smack talker, John, and we'd sit there and, you know, go back and forth and make fun of each other. And then, hey, be quiet. Here they come. Shoot, shoot, shoot. And then you're back to just shooting the bull, swapping stories. I don't turkey hunt. I don't really have any turkeys on my property. And I've never been a turkey hunter. So, I mean, it would probably be different if I had turkeys here, but I don't have any turkeys on my own place. And I've always just loved fishing so much. By the time turkey season rolled around, I was I was into it, into fishing instead. Will, has the 6 arc replaced the 243 for you? And the answer to that is no. I love the 6 arc. The 6 arc has some things that the 243 doesn't. And I think we ought to talk about that. I mean, I don't know if everybody in here is into guns, but the 6 arc shoots basically the same size bullets and can go a little heavier. What the 6 arc does that the 243 can't is its reduced recoil allows you to stay on target after you pull the trigger. So you see your bullet impact. The 8-point that you saw me shoot on camera with the 6 arc, I saw that bullet hit exactly where I was aiming because the recoil is so light. The target stays in the scope, whereas with the 243, it's not a heavy recoiling gun, but when you're zoomed in your scope, you lose it. And so shooting the coyote was the same way. I saw the bullet hit the coyote, and that can make a big difference, in trying to determine which way it went or if you really got it or not. So I don't want to replace it with that. I would say it would be preferred for coyote hunting just because it's in an AR platform and you got those quick, semi-auto follow-up shots. And I enjoy shooting it, and I've been tinkering with some lighter bullets that would shoot flatter. And so for me, it'd probably be my go-to coyote gun. But as far as deer hunting goes, I don't like deer hunting with an AR. If ARs are just not as reliable as a bolt gun. They can get dirty, they can get dry, they can not seat all the way forward. I mean, you can have all kinds of little just chinks that happen with that many moving parts. So if I was deer hunting, I'd be shooting a bolt gun, which would be my 243, my 30-06. I mean, I could deer hunt with a 22 250. I would prefer a bolt gun for deer hunting. So killed a deer with the arc, but I probably won't do that long term. Now, if we come out with and I can find a bolt arc, things might change. So good question, Will. Thanks for stopping by, Humble Acres. Good to have you with us. Trump or DeSantis? Man, I would probably go DeSantis. I'm not anti-Trump in any way. I voted for him twice. I just think DeSantis would be a better people person. And this is a good question, JMC. Part of being a leader is not just knowing what's right. Part of being a leader is getting people to follow you. Trump was used to being in charge of everything, a boss. And so what Trump would do is he would just, do what I say. And when people didn't follow him, you're fired. And he's used to always getting his way. And so when those kind of things happen, that's not a leader, that's a boss. And being a boss and being a leader, two different things. So I think if you're going to be the leader of our country, you've got to be better with people skills. Trump doesn't have them. I loved him as president. Don't get me wrong. I'd take a mean tweet over $5 a gallon gas. But given the choice of those two men, I think DeSantis is a true conservative, and that's what I would look for in a president, a true conservative. And he has a record of that. And I think he's better at conveying his message. And so that's why I would take him over Trump. But if Trump wins if he wins the primaries, I'd have no qualms about voting for him again. Lots of turkeys in Washington. Yes, there is. Lots of buzzards too. You won't have to worry about me tuning in to a liberal. The college is called South Florida Bible College. That's awesome, Thomas. I wasn't worried about you anyways, but I was just giving you some advice. Get out of there quick as you can. James Pollard. Hey, preacher. Hey, James. Thanks for tuning in. Night, y'all. Good night, Beavis. Good to talk to you. Continuing on shotguns, is there a certain barrel length or weight that I should look for? Man, I'm not an expert in this, William, but I'll give you my opinion. I don't like a long shotgun. I don't know what barrel length mine is. I want to say 28, 24, 26, something like that, 24, 26. I think they're easier to point, easier to get around with. If you're shooting ducks, a lighter shotgun has a lot more recoil than a heavier one. 2 3/4 shells, this is not a problem. When you start shooting 3.5s, if you get one that shoots 3.5, a lot of times that recoil will bring you off the target, and you'll have to bring your barrel back and find another bird or finish the bird you shot. So I prefer not a real light one and not a real heavy one, and a medium length barrel. With the modern day chokes, I don't think the old 30-inch goose gun is a necessity anymore. I'm very good with a 6-shooter when comparing myself to Barney Fife. I recall you shooting my Glock and cutting your hand open, preacher. Alexander, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't know how much 20 NOK is, but thank you very much. If you have a question, I'll be glad to try to give it an answer. Have you ever crappie fished from a kayak, or would you? I have a P-row, which is very similar to a kayak, David, and I fish out of it a lot, but it's always been on ponds or backwater on the river. I don't think I would get out like on Blue Mountain. If I did, I wouldn't get out in the bay. You get guys in boats, bass boats, you're hard to see, you're lower in the water. I don't think you'd get ran over per se, but you might get waked pretty good. And if you're not ready for that in a kayak, you could take water. I do like fishing out of my P-row because you can really slide right up there with them. You know, they don't spook like they do in a boat. And I've done that quite a bit. Matter of fact, I have a guy in church that built me a bracket to go in the receiver hitch of my my side-by-side, where I can slide my P-row in that short bed, and then I've got a bracket where my P-row will rest on that. And so you'll probably see a lot more fishing videos out of a kayak similar boat this spring, you know, providing everything goes normal. 300 black or 6 arc all the way. 6 arc all the way. Blackout's great, but I've always said once you get to 100 grains, speed over weight. I think you can get 100 grain, 105 grain. My arcs, I shot some 112s or something like that in it. It shot them well. I would prefer the 6 arc. I just don't think the blackout has the range in 30 cal that 6 arc has. That's my opinion, James. Hey, Jamie, good to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. What about 17 HMR for coyotes? I had a 17 HMR and I had it for coyotes and JMC. I did not like it. The reason being, it'll kill a coyote. I mean, and the explosiveness and the speed of that bullet, but that bullet is so light. If a coyote's at 100 yards and you got a strong wind with a 17 HMR, it'll blow your bullet off 4 or 5 inches. And that's if you're aiming center mass at a coyote and he's looking at you and you're aiming at his chest and you don't take into account wind at 100+ yards, you miss him every time. And it's just the bullet is so light. It travels fast. And if you don't have wind, it's fine. But I just had such a hard time hitting coyotes at 200 and 300 yards with it because I never could figure the wind, and it didn't take much to blow it off. So good question. And, you know, I killed coyotes with mine. I just seemed to miss more than I killed. And wind was the issue, and I never could get it down. All right, let's look down through here. Thomas, Thanks for the advice. Speaking of shotguns, my uncle had a double barrel 12 that had a 52-inch long barrel and an English straight stock. Wow, man. So I would have to back up to shoot at stuff if my barrel was that long. You have to do a kayak like mine with outriggers on mine, as I have outriggers on mine. I saw your video today. I didn't watch it. I haven't had time today. I did a funeral yesterday, and I had a lunch for pastors today, and then I'm cooking pork butts for the church tomorrow night. So I had to go to town and get all the pork and everything for that. I haven't watched much YouTube at all today. But I saw you were getting an anchor, I think an anchor lock or something on your most recent video, John, and I wanted to watch that and see what you had. But yeah, you're right. That would do the job. I when I bought my P-row, the sides come up and wrap around. It's similar to a kayak. It just has a bigger opening and it floats in shallower water. I had, plans of just going out and hunting out in the middle of Dyer Bay, and you know where that's at, David, if you're still listening. But when I got about halfway out there, all the boat traffic, I mean, I was just rocking up a storm, and um, they're fine for fishing out of. I just don't like being out in the open water with them, me personally. But good advice, John. How are the chickens? They're good. Still eat everything I throw at them. I think we're getting about 8 eggs a day right now. So that's pretty good considering we only have, I think, 9 hens. So they're just about clicking on all cylinders. So we're letting them out in the evenings when we get home, let them graze around the yard. They're really liking that. Everything's starting to green up, but this big freeze we got coming, I think will nip it all back. Oh, my sister-in-law's here. I'm your favorite sister-in-law. We miss you guys. Miss you too, Jackie. I've heard it from you before. Speaking of 6-arc versus 300, speed kills, velocity is king. Yes. Kevin, that's my opinion. And that's what I was saying about the 17 HMR. It's way faster than a 22 Magnum. But the problem is there's not enough weight there. The reason I would take a 300 blackout over a 223 is you can shoot the heavier bullets. But when you go to 6-arc, it's designed to shoot the 100 to 110 or 15 grain bullet. That's really what it's locked into. And I'm shooting a lot lighter than that and getting pretty good accuracy out of mine. But if you can get a 100 grain bullet and you can get speed, I would take that over a 300 blackout with, let's just say, 160 grain bullets. Man, that thing really drops off the face of the earth after about 100 yards. It just dies. And my uncle Grady, he shoots 300 hammer, and he gets a little bit more. Gets a little bit more out of it because it can handle a little bit higher pressure than the 300 blackout. But he's been shooting the arc, and he's like, man, I love the arc. And so if it were up to me, I would be arc all the way. Fresh eggs are always good. Yes, they are. We've been going about 45 minutes now. If you guys have a question, you better get it in here because we're going to shut this thing down at about an hour. I don't want to go any longer than that. And I'm just trying to answer whatever questions you got. If you're watching this tomorrow and you leave me a question in the comments, I try to respond to every question, every comment I get. And YouTube's not very reliable. Sometimes I respond and it says I responded, but it don't post my response. So if you're watching this tomorrow, just go ahead and leave your question in the comment and I'll try to get to it in a comment. You can't miss them fast enough to kill them. No, you're right. And That's the thing. Speed kills, but if it's not accurate, why does it matter? You know, I really wanted to shoot 40 grain bullets in my 22 250 because you could shoot them like near 4,000 feet per second. I mean, they're just screaming fast, but I couldn't get accuracy. I'm shooting a 2-inch group at 100 yards. And then you're like, well, what's the purpose of shooting a 2-inch group at 100 yards, you know? And so I went to the heavier bullets and got the accuracy. And you know, a 55 grain bullet in a 22 250 is still screaming. So, GGW, thanks for swinging by. It uses the same magazine as a 6.5 Grendel. So, yes, you can shoot it in an AR-15 platform, but you can't use 223 mags. You've got to shoot the Grendel mags. So, really, John, if you wanted to swap your 223 AR over, this is what you'd do. You'd change the barrel out for 6 arc, and you'd change the bolt face out from 223 to 6 arc, or I think it's 220 Russian or 6.5 Grendel. It's that cartridge base, and then you shoot those Grendel or 220 Russian mags, but they fit in the AR-15 platform. So that's what I like about it. And so that's what I did. I had a 223 target rifle, big, long, heavy bull barrel. I never shot it. It was a Colt. It was extremely accurate. I just didn't have a need for an extremely accurate 223. So I put the 6 arc on it and a shorter barrel. It's threaded. I have a suppressor for it. And I really, it rides with me a lot on the side-by-side when we're just covering the farm. It's a good truck gun. Can you pray us out when you sign off? Yes, I'll try to remember to do that. 4570, 400 grains. Yeah, that's good out to about 100, 150 yards, and then they start falling off the planet. And so when we're talking about hog hunting, what you try to do is get real close to them. And when you get real close to them, you want to start shooting. And if you can catch them in a field, I mean, I've shot pigs at night with thermals, 200-300 yards. Good luck doing that with a 4570 and 400 grain bullets. You're really going to have to do some holdover on that. I would go with the blackout, Big John. 223, man, mine would shoot 75 grain bullets, and that worked. And hey, look, I killed a bunch of hogs one night with a 223 with my Uncle Grady. He had a 308. I had a 223. I want to say one night we killed 24 hogs. And I mean, I was killing them with a 223. You can kill them with anything. You kill them with a 22 Magnum. But if you're shooting a 55 grain bullet, it just kind of peters out on a hog unless you hit him right. I would go with the blackout, and if I had my choice between the blackout and the 6 arc, I'd go with the 6 arc. So, Will, if you ever get a chance, you need to read Alaska's Wolfman by Jim. He's a trapper. I've read it. It's very good. Yep, he used the 220 Swift. I read that a long time ago, and that is a fascinating book. And if you're still listening, the 32 of you that are, and you like hunting and you like adventure and you like ballistics, Alaska's Wolfman, the 220 Swift, he shot that, and he lived alone in Alaska a lot. He trapped wolves, he shot wolves, he loved wolves. But yes, that is an excellent, excellent book. Hey, Wayne, thanks for coming by. Used to tape a flashlight to a shotgun, sit in a tree and shoot them. That works too. That works too. I like my Bolt 223 for keeping the boy, the 10-year-old, to be able to sling the yeah. Yeah, I'm not anti 223. I've still got an AR and 223, and I've got a Tika bolt action 223, and If I found another reasonable 223, I'd pick it up, Uh, you'd like it, Big John. Talking about good books, we got about 10 minutes left. I've run out of comments. Um, Jeremiah Johnson, Liver Eating Johnson, I think is what it's called. There's a movie with Robert Redford in it. That is absolutely nothing. Well, it's similar to the book. But the book, he lived to be an old man and died in a veterans home in California. And he told his story before he died. And it is an excellent, excellent book. If you like the mountains, you like mountain men, you like trappers, Jeremiah Johnson is an excellent book. You could look it up, Liver Eating Johnson, buy that book. That would be a good one to read. I think it's called The Life and Times of Davy Crockett. It's like a autobiography, which is basically the journal of Davy Crockett. He talks about bear hunting, and bear hunting primarily along the Mississippi River in East Tennessee, canebrakes. I mean, not East Tennessee, West Tennessee. He talks about Kentucky. He talks about going across the Mississippi River and killing buffalo. I mean, you want to talk about a pioneer that just was a tough man that grew up tough. I think he became House of Representatives or senator or something. I don't remember. I just remember him talking about killing bears, and he hunted them with dogs. He would shoot black bears and then skin them, render all the fat down, take all the meat and salt it, and then hang it up in trees. Build scaffolding, put it up, get it up off the ground where stuff couldn't get to it. And just the detail that he goes into about his life. That is another excellent, excellent book. If you're into big game hunting, you like Africa, if you've never read Death in the Long Grass by Peter Hathaway Capstick, he talks about hunting dangerous game in Africa, lions, leopards, rhinos, hippos, Cape buffalo. Death in the Long Grass. I just remember reading it. I'll give you a little thing there. He's hunting them back in, I would say, like the 50s. And he's having to just it's control hunt. They're overpopulated. They're starving. They're running out of range. This is before commercialized hunting went over there and kind of saved them from being overpopulated. He would talk about killing man-eating lions. They would track them down, man-eating leopards. But one of the stories I really remember from Death in the Long Grass is they were trying to kill Cape buffalo, and they were just staying in thickets, and they were having a hard time killing them. And they had a quota of Cape buffalo they needed to kill. So they ended up getting a military flare gun at night, and they shot a flare up in the air. And all these buffalo just froze. They had never seen a flare. It was lit up at night. And he and this other hunter were just shooting Cape buffalo just as fast as they could shoot them. And the buffalo were just standing there, and they were just dropping them. And then the flare went out, and it was total chaos. Like, those giant herds of Cape buffalo were just stampeding in every direction. And him and this other guy jumped up in a tree, and the tree was getting hit. They were night blinded from the light. They couldn't see good. And they were running into the tree they were in, and like to shook them out of the tree. And it was crazy. It's like 2 hours before they all settled down. But Death in the Long Grass, another good hunting book if you like African type hunting. But Peter Capstick, and he also would talk about cartridges extensively. So good book. Into the Wild movie, sad ending. I don't know as though I've seen it. I don't watch a lot of movies, but I'll take Kevin and MCK and your word for it. All right, guys, got about 5 minutes left. We'll start wrapping this thing up. That with a bow, wow. My dad has killed a bunch of African animals. I don't exactly know how many. He's been about 4 times. I think he's going to go again. He usually kills somewhere between 8 and 12 animals every time he goes. And my dad is on budget. He can't go and just shoot elephants and lions and tigers and all that when he goes. He's killed that, but he usually ends up shooting an old one or one with a broken tusk, or he killed a lioness and not a lion. But yeah, he loves to hunt over there, and but he always hunts with a rifle. So anyways, last chance. You got any questions for me? You want to know about barbecue, gardening, hunting, fishing, reloading? I'll share my limited wisdom and resources with you. A lot of times people ask me what I'm reloading right now. And right now I have some 243 over there that I'm loading for a upcoming shooting match I'm going to enter. I have some 6 ARC in the process. I've got cleaned and sized. I'm ready to prime and powder. That will be for more test loads. And then I've got some 300 blackout. I've got a bunch of cast bullets that I'm going to try, and I'm going to try some Shooter's World powder and some H110. I've always, my rifle's always done good with H110 and 300 blackout. So I'm going to try that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you commenting. This wouldn't be fun to me if you guys didn't interact. If it was just me talking to a camera and there were no comments, there was no interaction, no ability to do what we're doing tonight, it wouldn't be as fun. I really enjoy your participation in it. That's what makes it fun to me. Could you read us one of those books 1 hour every Tuesday evening? No, you don't want to hear me read. I read on about a 3rd grade level, man. I'm not good at reading. I'm better at it since I've been a pastor and a preacher, but you wouldn't want me to be reading to you, Mike. I assure you. My dad's favorite African caliber. He has a 300 Weatherby, and most of the Plains game he has shot with a 300 Weatherby because it's his. He had I think it was a 375 Ultra Mag, Remington Ultra Mag. I think it was a 375 Remington Ultra Mag. And he shot it some over there, but most of the time he just rents a rifle. Or, when he shot an elephant, I believe he just used their elephant rifle. And the twist on my 223 bolt gun, I want to say to 1 8. I'm guessing, Jeff. I'm not sure. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I don't know if it's Glenn or Nettie, but the Cow Emporium, that's a good channel I like to follow along. They're in Alberta raising cattle, and a lot of fun, good people. If I lived in Alberta, I'd be hunting on their cow farm. I wouldn't be. Every time I look at what they're doing, I'm like, man, that looks like a good place to hunt, and they're farming. So, but I do enjoy following along. Yeah, you're right. It was a 375 Ultra Mag, Kevin. He sold it just because he never used it. My dad has told me he's making his last trip to Africa for the last 5 times. And, I'm getting older, son. I can't keep going. I can't. This will be the last time I go. And then he goes again and again and again. And so I hope he does. I hope he goes till he just can't go anymore because he enjoys it. So, okay. True story about Christopher McCandless. All right. Great place to hunt. I bet you have it. Yes, it is. All right, guys. It's been an hour. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you leaving a comment, a question. You guys mean a lot to me. I really enjoy it. If you if you have any ideas or something you want to see more videos of, you can just leave that comment later or put it here on the side, and we'll wrap it up. But it's looking like I'll have some shooting videos, some fishing videos, and some gardening videos. That's what hopefully my future looks like. I'm doing a lot of cooking for church, but it's all stuff I've cooked before. It's nothing new. I do want to do some barbecue review videos, but I'm not going anywhere. And I've eaten most of the good barbecue around here and reviewed it once or so. So probably be hunting or be shooting. Hunting season's over. I may do some more shooting videos, reloading type videos, and then gardening and fishing. That's pretty much what's on the agenda. So more chicken videos. I can do that. I can do that. Yeah. All right, guys. Good night. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. And y'all have a good evening.